I'm glad I was hungry. You guys are gonna love this. It's so good. Hi, I'm Kathy, and welcome to my kitchen. I was just looking at the weather report for tomorrow, and look, it's gonna be colder in Florida, 77 degrees. Yes, I know it's not that cold, but I'll take it. Anytime it drops below 80, it's time to cook something really hearty and warming to the tummy. And that is my award-winning chili. So let's get cooking. Chili can come in so many different ways. You could do the ground beef chili, you could do ground chuck, you could do pork, you could do chicken, you can even do a vegetarian chili. We're going to cook with some ground chuck. I got some really lean ground chuck to make this chili with, and what you see here is basically all the ingredients I'm going to use in making this wonderful chili. Very easy to do, and I'm gonna make a lot. I know this is a lot for just hubby and I, but I plan on making a lot and putting probably some of it in the freezer for another day. But we love chili. So let's start chopping some of those veggies and get the chili going. I'm going to chop up 1 white onion, 1 red bell pepper, and 1 jalapeno pepper that I'm gonna also take the seeds out. If you don't take the seeds out, it's a lot hotter, but if you take the seeds out, you'll get just enough kick from the jalapeno that it's not too hot, and that's the way we like it. Make sure when you're cutting these peppers that you watch your fingers. Some people like to wear gloves so they don't get it on their hands, and other people are okay with it, but I would recommend highly that you do not touch your eyes or your mouth after cutting the peppers. Make sure you wash your hands real well. Now that we're done chopping up the red bell peppers and the jalapeno and the onions, we get to head over to the stove and start the cooking process. Meet you over there. I have my large soup pan or stew pan that I'm going to cook my chili in, and we're going to put in a couple of tablespoons of olive oil and heat that up a little bit. And I have 2 pounds of ground chuck that I'm going to use. Turn down that heat to medium. Look at all that steam coming out of here. Just break that meat down, stir it around. Okay, I was getting a little facial here with all this steam. Just break down that meat in there and let it cook a little bit. Then I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of salt. And 2 teaspoons of black pepper. And stir that around. I want to make sure you break up the meat so you don't have big lumps. Next, I'm going to take the whole onion that I chopped up and pour it in. Stir that around. I'm making my chili in the pot on the stove, but you could also make this chili in the crock pot, and I will give you instructions down below in the description as to how to cook it in the crock pot. But basically it's the same ingredients, just cooking it a little differently. We're going to let this cook for about 5 minutes and let the meat get all brown, and then we'll add more ingredients. Now we're going to reduce the heat down to medium-low, and I'm going to go ahead and add in the red bell peppers and the chopped jalapeno pepper. And stir that around. Oh, I love the smell of peppers. Now I'm going to add in the other seasonings. I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of chili powder. I'm adding 2 teaspoons of cumin. Actually, I'm going to put 3 in because I love cumin. We're going to do a ½ teaspoon of cayenne pepper and a ½ teaspoon of powdered garlic. And an interesting ingredient to this chili is about a ¼ teaspoon of cinnamon. We're going to give this a good stir. The next thing I'm going to add to the chili is 2 cans of my Rotel fire roasted diced tomatoes, and this one is with green chili. So we'll add 2 cans of this, and I'm also going to add in 1 small can of tomato paste. Now stir all of that up. Next, I'm going to add 14 ounces of beef broth. And then the next ingredients is going to surprise you too. Dr. Pepper. Yes, Dr. Pepper, and the cinnamon is a little different, but it really adds quite an interesting flavor to the chili. So I'm going to add 12 ounces of Dr. Pepper. And guys, this is it, except for the beans. The beans we will add during the last 30 minutes of cooking time. So for an hour and a half, we're gonna let this simmer and just cook and have all the flavors just meld together, and it is going to be so yummy. I entered a chili cook-off contest and I won. I couldn't believe it. It was like last January before all this COVID stuff started, and I won the grand prize. And it was just a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Sometimes you just got to experiment with things. So experimenting with the Dr. Pepper and with the cinnamon in this, it just gave it a really unique, nice taste. People were like, ooh, what is different about this? And they just couldn't put it down. And when you make this, your friends and family are going to just love it, and they're not going to be able to put it down either. So let's let this simmer for an hour and a half, and then we'll be back to finish it off. Now that the chili has been cooking for an hour and a half, simmering in the pot, oh, it smells so wonderful. I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients, which are the beans. I use 1 can of chili beans, pinto beans, and 1 can of dark kidney beans, and 1 can of northern beans. It adds nice color to the chili, which I love. I think food needs to be beautiful also, as well as very tasty. For those who do not like beans, you don't need to add them. You can just have the chili just the way it is and you will love it. But we like beans, and so we're adding the 3 different types of beans. And just stir all that in. It's a very hearty chili, and you're just going to love this. Of course, now I've got to taste it, just to make sure there's nothing else that needs to be added. It's just perfect. This is going to be awesome. You're going to let this cook for another 15 minutes just to get the beans all cooked in there. I would suggest leaving the lid off at this point so the water can steam out of the chili and it'll get much thicker. And in just a few minutes, it'll be all done. Now that the chili's all done, oh, it smells so delicious. And I'm just going to have to test this out. I've got some toppings. You can be creative with your toppings, but what I like to do is I like to add a little bit of Mexican cheese, a little shredded. And then I'm going to put some red onions. And then a little dollop of sour cream, and then a few little flakes of cilantro. What I also made was some corn muffins, and sometimes I like to break them up into the chili, or you just slather some butter on them and just eat them with the chili. So this is my version of yummy. Look at that gorgeous chili. Isn't that beautiful? And it smells so good. And now I've got to taste this. Look at this. Doesn't this look just yummy? It smells so good. Let me get my spoon here. I'm going to taste this. Oh my goodness. It's got a nice little kick from the jalapenos and the chili powder. That subtle something's in there that's different. I know what it is, and now you do too. That Dr. Pepper and the cinnamon. People just can't figure out what it is that's in there that tastes so good, yet a little different. This is so yummy. Oh, I can just eat this whole bowl right now. I'm supposed to wait for dinner in a sec. I haven't told hubby dinner's ready yet. All right, guys, I hope you like this video and you give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and click on that little bell so you get notification of my next video. I hope you try this. I know it's cold in a lot of places, especially up north, and it's getting a little cooler in Florida. So try this chili recipe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.